I've been to a lot of services for the military, served myself, and every time I get choked up. Thank you, Ron, for your service. Ronald Webb was born March 18, 1942, to Roy and Evelyn Hart Webb near Buhl, Idaho. He was the third of 6 children. One to Castleford of Payette, Roger, Sandra, Leah Hart of Meridian, and a younger brother who died when he was 18 years old. After graduating high school in Buhl, Ron joined the United States Army and was with the 101st Airborne and worked as a crew chief on helicopters. He was proud to serve his country. As a young man, he married and had 2 daughters, but as life is hard, they were all estranged for many years. Praise the Lord, they are here today.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to bid Ron farewell. I want to pay my tribute to this most wonderful man. Ron was my dearest friend, my business partner turned family member. Over the past 30 years, I could count the few days when Ron and I did not see or talk to each other. Now that he's gone, the hardest thing for me is to get used to not having Ron here to talk to every morning and evening. Ron always said meeting me was the best thing that happened to him. I wanted to say I'm the luckiest to have had him in my life and the life of my family. Few business partners could forge a friendship like ours. I thank God to have brought Ron in my life. Ron was a smart man with an innate sense of creativity. He was the most positive person I know. In his dictionary, the word impossible did not exist. It was his optimism and his belief that any problems are solvable which brought him success with all his inventions. I was drawn by his confidence and was grateful to join him for the exciting venture. Ron was a true American and a die-hard cowboy. His patriotism and his love for his country always touched me in the heart. Ron soon became a close friend to my husband and my daughters. He introduced dogs and horses into our lives. He took us to long road trips in his motorhome. He taught me to drive a truck, a tractor, and a go-kart. He taught me skills to protect myself and to keep my girls safe. He was a firm believer of buying American. For years, I only drove big American SUVs because Ron got me to believe that GMC and Tahoe I drove are the only safest cars in existence. Ron loved Idaho, and he was very proud to be Idahoan. Soon after we set up our company, he insisted taking me to his home state. And that was the beginning of many visits from me and my family, including my loved ones from China. Ron enjoyed helping others overcome their limitations. When we first met, Ron noticed that I wasn't used to ordering food at restaurants. He wanted to make me feel easy with that. So any chance he got, he would introduce me to different Western cuisine and customs. He was so thrilled to see me become a pro with menus at last. From him, I learned what's the best piece of steak, why the Idaho potato is better than others. Ron was a charming man. He had a fan club anywhere he went. In the years of running our project in China, not only did he make friends with other Westerners, but he also became popular with local Chinese. For 3 years, Ron ran huge Christmas parties with hundreds of local participants in Tianjin, a northern city where he worked. He made friends with taxi drivers who would wait to take him to places. The funny thing was, they said Ron was the one to give them directions for where he wanted to go. His genuine interest in people guaranteed him a good time every time. What fascinated me was that Ron didn't seem to need the language skill to get around. Once he went to my hometown to see my mom, while I had to travel away. He was supposed to join me soon afterwards, but he was having such a great time with my family that he decided to stay a couple of days more. I certainly watched how much Ron was adored by kids and trusted by animals. He was best friend to his horses and dogs. And those dogs and horses got to share a Coke or a hamburger with him every now and then. Once at a fair in China, I watched Ron, with his gentle touch and whispers, magically calm down an enormously irritable horse. Ron treated kids with deep sense of understanding and respect. He came to my children's lives soon after we met, and soon became their favorite person to hang out with. Ron had his own theories when it comes to treating children. One of them is kids know best. He proved his theory on this to me when I once had him take my 3-year-old for a dentist appointment. It was a big deal for me that day, so I called the dentist office right away to check in. To my surprise, they told me Ron never let the dentist touch the child and that he took her away. I soon found out Ron took my baby to another pediatric dentist who was treating her right then. I asked Ron afterwards how he knew which dentist to choose. He said it was very easy to know. The baby told him by crying at the first one, but smiling at the second one. Ron also believed we should try to satisfy kids' interest in good things, such as ice cream and kites. Yes, ice cream and kites. In Tianjin, he was known as the ice cream man because a few times he bought out all the popsicles and ice cream from street vendors to give to kids passing by. Another time when we were traveling in the south, he saw a little boy crying hard and learned the boy wanted a kite from a nearby store. Ron then took the mother and child to the kite store and paid for 200 kites, telling the shop owner to give all children who wanted a kite. This is Ron, a generous man with a giving heart. He gave it all to live a full life for himself and for the joy of everyone around him. Ron, I will cherish all the memories of our time together and will carry on your legacy and spirit. I love you, Ron, and see you someday in heaven.